Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We've got some extra faces in tonight, haven't we, Robin?
Extra faces, yes. I'm finally showing both my faces.
We, of course, have Matt, who's I'm going to try and point. He's here. And Robin, if you can point to Loz. Can you get
Me?
your left
No,
and
you
your
know
right?
I can't. You know I can't point.
I know, that's what I'm
No,
saying.
I'm not even going to do it because you're just trying to set me up.
There we go. I got it.
I can't do it.
We've
Yeah,
got
that's it. You got it. You got it.
Matt's got it. Matt's much better at this. Yeah, we've got Matt and Loz in the house from, obviously, Into the Glory Hole fame, another YouTube channel who does bat reports on Underworld. So do check them out. Matt, if you want to chuck a link to your channel in the chat at all, feel free to go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah, of course, it does mean that we lose quite a percentage of our normal viewership because they normally account for 3.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, it's going to drop quite severely tonight.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Yeah, the Moloch lovers are in the house. Who have we got on tonight? We've got Joe Hayward, we've got some weirdo called Matt Collins, we've got some weirdo called MacLeod, we've got Daniel Bungay, Andrew Marlowe, Malmont. Don't think we've seen you, Malmont, before, if you've tuned in before, but hello. Rosa, Craig Sargent, Jan Sinkovic, Ed Avery, VJ Morph, Defiant Nerd, Gitley Gaming, Street Pass Liverpool, Brennig Banks, Jimmy Forrester Fellows, Craig Sargent, I think I'm repeating names now, Wolfman Gaz, Noxious, Daniel Stantos, Tom Murphy. Hello, everybody.
VJ's in, Noxious. Hello, everyone.
And somebody, it was Brenning Banks.
And Elron's here too.
Joined in at the last moment and asked to have his name entered into the draw, and you are in the draw, Brenning. Don't worry about that. Joshua Jacob as well. Parker Walther, loads of people. Lizard Queen, hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's chat.
Lots of people in, lots of new names to in tonight.
I do, yes.
Hello,
I was just
welcome everybody.
I'm enjoying seeing all the new chat. Maybe it's the new faces are encouraging the new chat.
They've heard that Matt and Loz are logging in.
You never know.
Maybe they're vaguely hoping for some intelligent conversation.
Well, they're going to be
more than one dislike this time.
Well, they'll be sorely disappointed, won't they? Ha ha ha.
Oh,
Hopefully everybody can be heard and everybody can hear everybody. Matt, Loz, say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So, we've got Matt and Loz along tonight. It was almost a
accident.
It was almost an accident.
Mistake.
Yeah. It was just one of those things. We were chatting online on Discord, and then I think I can't remember if it was you, Matt. Maybe you said, "Oh, we're going to be off tomorrow, so we can do the chat." And we just figured, you know what? Yeah, now's as good a time as any, really.
I think it came about because of my embarrassing tumbleweed situation with the certain other content providers.
Yeah,
I offered to be a guest on their show, and they just suddenly stopped talking to me. and Matt said, "Oh, I'll come on your show," and I said, "All right then."
You know what? Yes. Because
Yeah.
You've got something.
Yeah.
If you've got something you want to say, then we want to hear it. So hopefully,
Exactly.
Matt and Loz, you've got something to say.
We'll see.
Time will tell.
I've got some beers ready, so
Excellent.
it
Just
could
start
get
chugging them.
interesting.
Just start chugging them if you're not sure what to say. That's just the easiest way.
Yeah, that's what you usually do.
So we've got a few things on the cards tonight. Not only have we got Matt and Loz along to give us some of their points of view on things and stuff like that. We've got obviously a giveaway. Going to be doing a giveaway, 3 giveaways later. One for the Eyes of the Nine, one for Warhammer Underworld's base game, and the Thorns DLC. This is all in Warhammer Underworlds, obviously. And then the third one is for the loot box with a copy of the Beastgrave base set. So we'll be doing that, I'm guessing, around 11ish. Unless we end up jibber-jabbing for far too long and we lose track of time, but all of that's highly likely.
Andrew says, "Are you giving Robin away? Is this it? Is it a coup? I might the giveaway, and then your new co-presenters are in tonight."
Quick, Loz, get him now! Oh God, he's not in the same place.
Just like Russia in 1930s and 1930s.
Dark comrade, we are now taking over this channel. And I apologise sincerely to anybody who's Russian for the horrible mangling of the terrible accent I just did. I sincerely apologise. We've got 50 people in the house tonight watching us. Lovely.
No way.
Yep, it's 50 people. They're all here for you, Loz, and you, Matt. Just to watch you.
I doubt it.
I spot a lie
Those
when I hear it.
losers.
You never know. You can tell when I'm lying when my lips move.
We've got quite a lot of domestic things going on tonight. Because Pajamas Kagara has been washing dishes, and somebody else, I'm sure, said they were baking a cake. So it's all very domestic this evening.
I like it.
Yeah.
Cake
What cake are you
and
making?
cake and crap. That's what we talk. Not sure that's the best combination.
Cake and crap. No. It's just chocolate frosting. No.
Who knows?
Gitly Gaming says that he watched last week's show, but he forgot to comment afterwards. Well, if you do want to be entered now, Gitly, let me know which draws you want to be added into. I can add your name in now. We can do that. We can make this happen.
It's all lies about the comments. It's all lies.
Morph says he's actually painting for a change. That is it. That is, we don't normally get people painting.
Are you painting the decorating though, or painting miniatures? Because maybe that's domestic. And Andrew's doing his ironing allegedly.
It's too early for painting a room, though, isn't it?
Wrapping presents. A bit early.
It's a bit early, but if you want to send it to me now, that's fine.
My birthday's not till April.
So we're here, and one of the big things, obviously, that's been announced is DireChasm. I can't say that word. It's just awful.
Season 4.
Season 4.
The loot box Gitly wants.
Loot box Gitly. Okay, I'll add you in. I'll do that whilst everyone else talks.
Dire name. Yeah, I know. I how did that pass inspection control or whatever they have? Just like, should we call it DireChasm? No.
What gasm?
I think they live in their own little bubble, don't they? Because they do the occasional odd decisions, and everyone's like, "What? Why?" And then they do it anyway. This is not the first time. It won't be the last time.
Yeah, I mean, I can only assume that they said it, and then they said it to some other people, and they said, "No, that's a terrible idea." And they went, "I'm really sorry, it's gone off to the printers." There's nothing we can do about it.
It's more like an FYI more than actually.
Somebody was just writing crap on a bit of a post-it note, coming up with nonsense names, and just stuck one on the box, and someone picked it up. Oh, all right, well, your funeral, and just typed it in, sent it off to the press.
I like diabolical.
DireChasm. Yes.
So I'm watching the chat channel, Robin, for people who want to be added in. So do keep going.
If I see anybody, okay, I see you're doing that, are you? I won't do that as well. Then that'll be really boring.
You can't add them to the list very easily.
No, that's true. No, I'm going to shout out when people have mentioned it. But anyway, ignore that. Yes. So I think the first thing that is bad about this game is the name, and I think it's never going to get called DireChasm on this channel.
Never, ever.
No, but I haven't really said it out loud before. It's even worse saying it out loud.
It's not natural, is it?
It's not.
DireChasm.
It breaks the 2-syllable rule, because you had Nightvault, Beastgrave, Dreadfane, DireChasm. Just
DireChasm. Yeah.
DireChasm.
Just yeah. So hopefully the rest of the game will be better.
I'm hoping that the
Malachi is he's well into it. He says say it loud and say it proud. Because he's changed his name on our Discord, hasn't he, to I Heart.
He has
DireChasm or something like that. It just chasm just rhymes with too many things.
Yeah.
Like orgasm.
Yeah.
Orgasm. Yeah, Orgasm's my favourite.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that one.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call it Bad Crack, and that's what it's getting called.
Bad Crack, yeah.
Bad Crack.
God Awful Crevasse, that's one I came up with today.
Yeah. Daniel Bungay asks, how will we introduce ourselves as the agents of Sigmar? That's what's happening for season 4.
Have to be the agents of Sigmar, or agents of some silly riff on the name.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so as somebody from a bit more external to the hobby, Loz, because we were talking one of the subjects we're going to talk about tonight is somebody who's come from much more external to the hobby, isn't a dyed-in-the-wool nerd like the rest of us. Do you see things like this when you see names like DireChasm and just think, oh my god, are they 4 years old?
Yes. But I'm not going to judge. There are probably lots of things that I like that have weird names, so I'm not going to judge. It makes sense most of the time. Matt tells me in terms of the books and things like that, most of it makes sense, but I just go along with it.
Well, we could talk all day about whether the books make sense, but
yeah, at least there's some sort of grounding and reasoning behind why things are called what. And then DireChasm, it's still set in the Beastgrave as well, so I don't understand why they've gone with such a weird name, but there's no excuses for me. But let's name it at least.
Yeah, so what do we know about DireChasm then? Let's start looking at what we know about DireChasm and what people think about that. So people's opinions on the box art. We were just talking about this before we came live.
Box art, it's not my favourite box art.
No.
If you compare it with I don't know, the Indomitus box or something, it's not as good. Even the ones behind you, Pete. You've got the Shadespire box, which I actually think was pretty atmospheric, and in fact, all of them. All of them are better.
The Shadespire one is terrible for 2 reasons, though. That face. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Mr. Squarehead.
Somebody pointed out he looks a bit like me. We went to the same hairstylist.
Hello, my name's Robin.
Yeah.
That, and the other thing is, what is going on with this arm?
Oberyn's left arm, isn't it?
No, I mean I can't even get it in bloody shot. What's going on with this arm here? That's dislocated. That is.
Yeah.
He needs.
Okay, that arm.
He needs some
I was
help.
why we were talking about Oberyn's arm.
Well, both actually look a bit terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, the box art looks okay though. I don't mind.
It's
the box.
okay.
Yeah,
It's all right.
It's probably third in the 4 for me.
but the new one's just too busy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still reading comments and stuff.
Okay. So I think it is too busy. That's right. And you haven't got the other ones all have the guy who's sort of sticking over the top. So you've got Draknar, is it, looking over the top, and the Briar Queen. They're more imposing, whereas the elf almost looks like he's accidentally turned up in shot. What am I doing here?
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, and he's kind of less. I don't know why I'm talking so much about the box art. He's just a bit less.
It's
he's
not
very
as impressive.
Flat.
Yeah,
he's very flat.
I mean,
he's got no. He's like a Titian painting or something from the 14th century.
Yeah, this was the comment that was made about the whole Morgwaith sort of the art for the Warband box. It's a very stark art style, and for the first 3, they just went with quite a detailed, just very typical GW art style. And this new one's a bit. I mean,
yeah,
without mincing my words, crap basically.
Maybe it's just flatter because of social distancing, so you can't tell how far they are apart. Maybe that's it. There's no depth.
Gitly Gaming is pointing out that he loves the fact that it's the dislocated arm is where we draw the line here. Yes, because people being killed and resurrected from the dead is completely okay.
Yeah.
But I won't have.
That's what you'd expect from that kind of box
The
art.
dislocated arm is just par for the course, isn't it? Really?
Yes. So there we go. Artwork rubbish. What do we know about the game? So we know we've got the Hedonites, the Slaanesh Warband, which is going to be the next Chaos and the only Chaos God who hasn't shown up yet. So quite excited by Slaanesh in more ways than one. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know, but in the Age of Sigmar main game, he's been put in prisons by Teclis and Tyrion.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why he's been largely absent, or it has been largely absent in the game for a while. But at the same day they announced DireChasm, they also announced, I forget what it's called, but like a mini campaign for Age of Sigmar where Slaanesh looks like he's slowly breaking out. So I think it's tied together, so that's something at least.
Yeah, that's quite nice. Yeah, that box looked quite interesting actually. For not that I want to get involved in the other games, but it did look interesting. I'm not quite sold on the whole Lumineth look, but I do like the spearmen that they've got.
I have to say the cow elves really disappoint me. Just the whole aesthetic of the cow elves. I just look at it and think, ugh, what the hell?
The mountain's really cool. The big cow mountain, I think, is a really awesome model. But then the little elves just don't do it for me at all.
Did you just say Cow Mountain?
Yep.
It's the cow mountain. Have you not seen the cow mountain, Loz?
No.
It's literally what it is.
It's like a mountain goat, but bigger.
It's like a massive angry cow thing with a big mountain on it. Yeah.
I already love it.
Cows suck apparently. I'm sure there's a milk gag in there, but I can't think of when it would work.
I'm not going to
Battle
leave that
cattle.
one.
I like battle cattle. Guys, focus. Lizardman Warband. Yeah, should we circle round to the Lizardman Warband?
Oh yeah.
Pajamas have mentioned it twice now. So
Sorry.
he probably will put him out of his misery.
Lizardman Warband. Who is excited? Give us a thumbs up in the chat if you're excited for the Lizardman Warband.
I have heard there's going to be a Lizardman Warband.
Yes, so we've seen that we've seen the I can't remember what they're called now, the chameleon skink thing. And it looks okay, but I'm not a massive fan of Lizardmen, so I'm completely.
You're trying to make the hilarious joke about it being a chameleon so you can't see it.
A lot of
If
people do
that joke got made once on Facebook, it got made 50 times.
Yeah, pretty much.
Somebody's already photoshopped the comedian skink to be invisible, so all you see is a blowpipe sticking out.
I did like that. That took some work, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone pointed out as the poor frog strapped to his leg with the arrows just jammed in his mouth. It's like,
yeah, that was quite funny. Small lizard with the blowpipe. Yeah, I'm quite excited about the lizard men because I don't know very much about them, but I think they're really cool. So I'm
Seraphonics.
I think I'm more excited about them than I am about either the Slaanesh or the Lumineth.
So I've always quite liked Slaanesh, so I'm quite excited to see what comes of those. But then I liked the Warcry Warband, those ones that had their faces taken off and chopped all their bits and pieces off and stuff. Yeah,
they were pretty cool.
So I'm quite looking forward to that kind of aspect to it. I'm calling it now. I reckon the Lizardman Warband is going to be like 5 skinks, and that's it. It's gonna be
that'll be riot.
There's going to be no actual sort of main lizard men or Croxagors or anything big. It's going to be all crappy skinks.
Probably. You reckon it'll be a fast, shooty warband?
I think it'll be whatever just annoys people the most.
Oh, I see. I see. Well, in that case, it'll be Stormcast in that case.
Yeah. If it doesn't, I forget what they're called. There's the Saurus, which is the guys with maces and the shield. If you don't have at least one of those, people will be upset, I think. And then they have the Slan.
Yeah. I don't think they can have a Slan, though. That might be a bit too imbalanced. That'd be like having some world-ending mage in a 3-man warband or something.
Yeah, true.
Andrew's in with his good jokes again. He's had
that.
They're scaling back on the lizard men. Yeah.
God.
He's always getting his coat, you know.
Yeah.
Constantly getting his
He's got a lot of coats, Andrew has.
He has many coats.
He can't actually fit into very many rooms because he's got so many coats on.
And one thing we noticed about the box of the cards is we noticed that the cards is going to be 500 cards in the box. Beastgrave had 438, Nightvault had 557, and Shadespire had something like 437 or something like that as well. So it's a weird number, 500. It's very specific.
It is very bang on. Maybe it's deliberate. I wonder why that is. Why are there going to be more? We were speculating a little bit off camera before we started whether that's good because they're going to bring back in. I said this. Whether they're going to try and bring in the couple of Beastgrave warbands like they did with Nightvault. In Nightvault they re-released Steelhearts and Reavers, didn't they, with some cards? And I wonder if they'll do the same. They didn't do that because they had Dreadfane, I think, for the Nightvault Beastgrave changeover. But I wonder whether they're going to bring Draknar and who was the other one? The Wild Hunt. I don't know. They might want to make the Wild Hunt a bit more longevitous in the game, I suppose, because they are kind of like wholly unique to the universe, aren't they? They don't really exist in the rest of the game. In the rest of the Warhammer world.
Because when
Kanofi don't have a range at the moment. They don't exist.
No, there isn't a Banoffee warband, so it'll be interesting to see what comes up with that one. I mean there were 557 cards though, so for it to be 500 exactly, that would imply I don't know. So I don't know whether they're gonna. Maybe there'll just be more warband. I've literally not got a clue. I can't even work out how 500.
Or alternatively, maybe they know they're going to do maybe they know they're going to do a birthday pack or whatever it was called, and
gift pack.
Gift pack, and they've just included it this time, so you haven't got a funny little 20 card thing. Maybe they're going to do one, and they know it's going to be whatever. That's still 60 cards, though, isn't it?
Dreadfane was 60 cards, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, and that would more or less bring it up to 500 if it was included in.
Yeah, that's near, because Beastgrave had 438, 60 card pack, that's nearly 500, so it could possibly be. I mean, having all those little extra packs coming out just did my bloody head in, because I'm obviously an OCD, like a lot of people who played this game. I had to have all the cards in order, so every time they brought us another little pack, I had to have another section just for that little pack, and then another.
There's going to be more soon.
Yeah, I know.
More soon. There's going to be Universals in the Arena Mortalis, whatever it's called.
No.
That's going to be 60 cards. I don't think they're going to be Season 4 branded cards, are they? So they're going to have their own little numbering system.
I'm sad for the hassle of all this noise. Just hassle and noise. That's what it is. And that's another thing we haven't even got on our list today to talk about. But I think somebody summarised it quite well for me online. where they said, I can't even find a game to play against one person right now, and they think I want a multiplayer version. Because, what?
It's not the best timing, is it?
It's a good point.
It isn't the best timing when you're trying to minimise contact with people. I know a few clubs are opening up, but even one-on-one is still better, even in a room. It's still better than 6 people playing.
Yeah.
Apparently it's going to be 40 cards, Jack Varnum has said.
Rob R said, just stick with your cards in a little bag, it'll be fine. Well, Robin and I haven't used our cards now for several games. We've been using just Underworld's DB and putting our decks on there and using the random draw function on that. So,
which works really well till it doesn't.
Yeah, we tried that and it did not work for us at all.
It works
I think
really
we
well.
played one round and we gave up.
Yeah.
We found it worked okay until Robin has to do stuff with it.
No, the problem was in the last game, it was a ridiculous game, and I had to draw quite a lot of cards, and then I had cards up above the screen, so then I forgot about them when I came to redraw. So I thought, I've got 2 left, I'll draw back up to 5, and then forgot that I had two off screen, so then I had 7 cards.
So he cheated.
Yeah, well, I did then realise before I started playing them, but yeah, but then I turned the wrong ones back over, so they all got very messy.
Matt Bruce says, damn you glory holers, it's 7 a.m. and he wants a beer now. Keep drinking that beer. Keep drinking it. Loz will drink it for you, don't worry.
I've got more lined up ready.
Banging them down. Nice one. So, we don't, someone mentioned post-it notes on there. You don't need post-it notes. We've got those little clear cards, and Robin actually had for some reason just white plain cards. We just put a load of those in clear sleeves. And we got markers.
I was going to invent my own ultimate competitive card game, so I bought some white cards. That's as far as I got. And we sleeve those. They're quite handy. They're quite good. They work.
Of course, we said that we were going to use iPads, but somebody pointed out it's very hard to get 32 iPads for all the cards. So it's a bastard shuffle them. It really is. I think that might have been another Marlowe joke, or maybe it was an Ed joke. I can't remember. It was one of them.
I think it was Anonymous Jeff actually with that one.
Oh no! Yes, you're right. It was Anonymous Jeff.
Yeah.
So. Other things we noticed in Beastgrave, there were a few cards that got previewed in the video. One of them was called Channel the River, which was a ploy, and it's also got that elemental keyword, which I'm hoping they do better with than they did with the cycles for Nurgle and poisons and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like the idea of keywords, but so far I feel like the execution has been lacking. But I think maybe we give the designer, or I give the designers a hard time on this, because it must be really hard to get the balance pitch perfect, and everybody wants the stuff to be great. And obviously, if it is really great, it'll just ruin the game because it'll be too overpowered. So I think it's a thin line to walk, especially when new cards are first released. I think like the Wormspat, everybody said, well, they're terrible, they're not what we wanted them to be, but people have since found very effective ways of playing.
But we have found after a lot of rigorous play and a lot of community support that they do in fact suck balls.
So Rob R says poisons are okay. Nurgle cycle cards make me sad. Yeah, I mean it's a shame that they're in there. Oh, but Wolfman Gas doesn't mind them. So there you go. There's the yin and yang of Underworlds right there.
They're nice in that I kind of find them fluffy, and I like the idea of them in the whole Nurgle set. But it's just they're in the grand scheme of the game they're crap and just wouldn't take them. And Wolfman Gas has just said it's probably too casual to get truly upset. Or he's probably too casual to get truly upset. But I think that's something we're going to talk about next week, which is casual versus competitive and stuff like that. And I like them in the casual aspect, but at the same time, no one's going to take them in a competitive aspect, I don't think.
Yeah, but I have never played the Wormspat, so I can't really comment. But I feel like they're almost so bad, they're not even any good for casual, because although there's cards that are very, very efficient and they're really good for competitive play. But even if you're playing casually, you still want your deck to work and be good fun, rather than just drawing cards. It's like, well, I've drawn this and it's bloody useless. That isn't any fun, whether you're playing casually or competitively.
Yeah, that is true. And that card, the Channel the River ploy, used what also seemed to be some kind of Aether Quartz counters, which assuming is going to be a thing a bit like the WAR counters for the Oryx. And you remove some of the counters, and then it enables you to move the fighter 3 hexes. So that'll be an interesting one to see what happens now. Another card, which was a surge objective called Patience of the Mountains, which was if at the end of an activation everyone's got a guard token, so no one's ever going to use that card.
Yeah, unless there's a lot of easy ways to put guard tokens on. I think that's their sort of nod to control play, isn't it? That they like to put in. I'm yet to see it used massively
But
well.
that
Since-
objective is a Slanesh specific card, wasn't it?
No, that one was an elf one, I think.
That's how I
That
feel
was the
like.
elf one.
I feel like
Oh,
it was.
it was an elf one. Yeah, it was. Yeah, which makes sense because if they do have the cowboys, which is what I'm calling them now, they're meant to be
Cowboys.
quite static, aren't they? So,
I assume that's how they're going to play, sitting back, and maybe they're going to play a
Sitting
controlling
back,
game.
moving. But when they do move, they all move together across the field.
Moo. Herd mentality at its finest.
Yeah.
And then of the Slanesh ones, there was one called Excess of Avidity, which is scoring an end phase objective if you have more objectives than your opponent. I mean, it depends on how the Warband plays. That might be a good one. It didn't show you how many glory that one was for, but it's a pretty generic sort of card. And then there was an upgrade which looked quite interesting called Upgrade. It wasn't called Upgrade, that's what the card type was. It was called Sickening Resilience, which is when you take damage, you roll a dice, and on a shield, you only take 1 damage. Which sounded rather...
Yeah, I don't know. I'm never a great fan of rolling dice cards.
Generally, I'm not, because my track record with dice isn't good.
Although,
Matt's
you know,
very good at
if it
getting
doesn't
lots of
require a
crits.
crit, you should be all right because you never roll those.
So that's the stuff we know about DireChasm at the minute. I can't even say that word, Diagon Alley. It's just awful. It's the worst name they could have thought up for a board game ever. DireChasm.
for kids.
It's just woeful. So that's what we've got on DireChasm at the minute. I feel like there's not a lot more to talk about on DireChasm right now. The rest would just be completely making stuff up. So I think we should move on.
Somebody's asked, when do we have the orcs and the witch elves, and when are they going to get a battle report? Well, we do, and we're going to record it tomorrow. They arrived slightly late due to going to the wrong place with the post office, but they arrived, and I put them together. So we're going to play our first game tomorrow. We've got a couple of games with, I think one's come out on YouTube, hasn't it, Pete, with the new cards? We've got another game with the new cards to come out on YouTube this week.
Yep.
But then we're recording our first game tomorrow.
And if I can manage it with a following breeze and a bit of luck and a small downhill stretch, I might be able to get the first one of those up for the weekend. So that might be a dual YouTube Patreon release, but all the others obviously will be going on Patreon and will take another week before they go onto YouTube. So yeah, I have to see how I can get on with that one.
Have you guys got your models yet, Matt and Loz?
We've got the orcs or orcs,
Okay.
and we're going to be picking up the witch elves this weekend. We couldn't stretch to it, so we're lowly peasants. But
They're going to be mine.
Okay.
yeah, you got your eyes on them already, haven't you? So
Mm-hmm.
Is
But
that
I'm
Loz,
still-
you've got your eye on the daughters? Or the orcs?
I don't know what they are. The cool girls.
Cool girls. Were they easy to
Mummy
put
bitches.
together? Zach Matthews says. Other people can chime in on this. I'm like the lowest common denominator for putting stuff together. If I can cut out the wrong part at the wrong time, then I will. If I can cut a peg off that I'm not supposed to, then I will. But I have to say, I was dreading doing the elves, and the elves were really easy to put together. So the orcs were slightly more tricky, but only because I'm incompetent. But yeah, they were better than some, and they're better than some of the Necrons in the Indomitus box.
I'm definitely getting
some of
better
the
at
Necrons are
building.
awful.
What's that?
I'm definitely getting better at building, but I did. What was that? I glued a couple of legs on backwards and heads on the wrong way, and glued my fingers together. Like I'm getting there, so I'm going to try my best with this new one.
It certainly isn't the easiest part of the hobby, the assembling of them. It really is like one of the fiddliest portions of it. Because when you're painting, you can slap paint anywhere, and it doesn't matter too much. But if you cut an arm off at the shoulder or something when you're not meant to, then you're buggered. Basically.
I basically did.
Yeah.
I was doing. I have one of the starter sets for YM40K, and I actually screwed up completely one of the Necrons by accidentally cutting the peg off that hold the whole bloody thing together, and now it won't go together.
Oh dear. I remember once you showed me you'd put some gene stealers together and you'd actually stuck one of the legs on completely back to front.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not sure what's wrong with this model. I'm like, well, he's going to run in circles. That's all I can tell you.
When Loz was first started to show a little bit of interest in in what I was doing, I gave her the Redemptor Dreadnought to build, and I left her to it, and she came back to me and said, look, I did it. Okay, great. And it's like slightly leaning backwards, and I was like, and she put the legs on backwards, literally backwards, and had glued everything down so tightly I couldn't prise it open again. So he's like slightly looking at the ceiling at all times. Okay,
it's
this
got
is yours
character.
now.
It's unique.
Yeah.
I think Jace Parker has come up with the joke of the night. He says you can't steal that many genes without a sequencing error somewhere. That is exactly. It was thematic. It was a thematic mistake. Yeah, that was brilliant.
So
Ed suggests a comedy gold mini-series with me assembling miniatures. Funny enough, I did record myself trying to do a beginner's guide to how to assemble the droids from Star Wars Legion, and it basically ended up with me sobbing and swearing into my cutting board. So yeah, that would be quite funny.
I'm kind of imagining the end sequence as like from the Blair Witch Project. The camera on the floor, Robin sobbing in a corner, and just this half-made model slowly falling apart in the foreground. Oh God! So, as a newer entrant to the hobby, Loz, do you find that you spend a lot of time just going, "What the hell?" like with putting models together and the history or the lore or any of that kind of stuff, or do you find there are bits that draw you in?
I learn everything from Matt. I don't go looking for it myself. So he usually tells me little bedtime stories about who did what and why they're important. I'm pretty good at building now.
Does he read you Josh Reynolds novels to make sure you fall asleep?
No, but like he'll... I don't know, but like earlier on you told me about something. I can't even remember what it was. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Josh Reynolds is one of my pet hates in the Warhammer universe.
But I'm hoping to start, because I like painting, but I haven't really properly tried to paint much yet. So I'm going to have a good old go at that and try not to get too frustrated.
Yeah, you were going to paint Moloch, because I haven't touched him.
Yeah, you won't go near him. So I'm going to paint Moloch. I feel sorry for him. He gets a bit left out in our house. He's the only one in my shelf not to be painted. So.
Which is your favourite warband, Loz, or model? Well, first of all, what's your favourite warband to play? What's your favourite model of?
I like Lady Harrow. She's my girl. I like her. Or I'm probably not going to say this right. Althari's Guardians, is it?
Okay,
yeah. Sounds about right.
I like them.
That's interesting actually, because you also said you were interested in playing the Blade Coven, and they're three warbands that are obviously heavily represented by females, and there's obviously a lot of discussion in the Warhammer world about diversity and representation, and a lot of people, normally men, saying, well, it's ridiculous, why do people need to be represented? But clearly, I don't know, you are drawn to the female one, so that would suggest that representation is important in the game.
Yeah, I think it's very much a boys' game in my eyes, and I don't know any other girls personally that play it. I know quite a lot of guys that play it, but I don't know any girls that play it apart from me. So yeah, I like having my little bit of girl power in my warband. It's nice. I choose my warband purely on how they look, put it that way.
Right.
That's how much research I do.
Well, I think
and then
I
figure out if I hate them later.
Because I think a lot of people will, if you go into the Warhammer stores or anything like that, a lot of people are going to go in there and they're going to see something that they just go, what? Yeah, something that, and you're more likely to see something, and not necessarily that you identify with, because obviously I identify with Space Marines, but so you're not going to pick something that doesn't physically exactly look like you. But if you walk into a shop and it's all like Conan-looking models and robots with jock straps and stuff, then as a woman, I expect you're going to sit and go, yeah, I'm not really interested in this shit. But if you go in there and you see, yeah, but if you go in there and you see stuff and you see an equal mix of model, female, male, all kinds of different gender kind of shapes and tropes and all that kind of stuff, then you're going to attract a lot more different people.
Absolutely. Exactly. The Blade Coat model I put together today, they are absolutely kick-ass, and I think they're really, really good models. Somebody suggested Blade Coat as the Spice Girls. which to be quite good. And I wanted to do them. We were talking about on the Discord, and we Bananarama or the Bangles as well. Give that 80s disco vibe.
So Matt, we've asked Loz, what's your favourite warband to play, and what's your favourite sort of models in general in the Underworld range?
Thanks, Robin. I've got a soft spot for Curse Breakers only because they were the warband I took to the Grand Clash and the ones I performed very well with. Okay. But at the same time, because they are just ridiculous, I don't like them so much. I really like the Scapeswild Hunt models because I think they're really dynamic. Didn't originally like the guy hopping with the sword because he looked a bit naff, but the others look good enough for me to forgive them, if you will. And then Alfari's Guardians. I've always liked wood elves. I like elves in general, which is why the Lumineth are a bit disappointing for me. Right. But the Sylvaneth models are great, so I really like Alfari's as well.
You're an enigma wrapped in a mystery, Matt. You don't like Monog, fair enough, but you do like the Curse Breakers. That's like, nobody likes the Curse Breakers.
So he's a power player, but he's got some scruples.
Yeah, I have some morals. I only dislike Moloch so much because when he arrived, every man and his dog ran Moloch. So in my local event, where you probably get no more than 12 people, the first event after Moloch came out, 6 people turned up with Moloch. And it came to the final, it was Moloch versus Moloch, and you could tell who would win because they won ball placement. It was like, well, this is boring. This is, if you excuse my French, this is shit. And then he proceeded to dominate the meta for quite a long time. So for me, it was boring. So that's why I didn't like him. Curse Breakers are equally as guilty, don't get me wrong, but at least with Curse Breakers, the only saving grace they have is that you still got to roll a dice.
Yeah.
It's the thing that if you'd have asked me 6 months ago what my favourite warband was, I probably would have said Grimwatch. But that was purely because that was the only one I could play and have any type of chance ever of even getting one glory. So Matt would give me Grimwatch and go, you go ahead, sweetheart. You have this game. It's fine.
Go on, love. You do it. Go on. Here's that deck. There you go.
Here's your deck. Here's all your models. Now kick my ass. Feel a bit better about yourself, and then I'll grab a beer. That's kind of how it went.
It wasn't even our because even before we started playing the channel or recording for our channel, we were playing the occasional game, and you played Grimwatch pretty much exclusively. And then our first battle report wasn't Grimwatch. Grimwatch didn't appear for us for quite a while.
No, because I wanted to kind of break off from it, but I wanted to actually try and actually do it properly rather than just picking up free glory all the time. That's what it was.
Yeah, I think they're harder to play now, aren't they? They've been nerfed pretty seriously. Mark Reynolds has asked an interesting question. He's suggesting that because 75% to 80% of the factions from AOS are represented, what else is going to come in DireChasm? I guess, Loz, perhaps you have got less idea what might be coming since you're less au fait with the lore, a bit like me. I don't really know what might be coming. But any thoughts on what you'd like to see, what you think might come in the are there 5 warbands to predict?
Assuming that they're going to go with 8 warbands in the release, which I presume they're going to, then there's 5 that we don't technically 100% know what they are.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. For me, it literally could be anything. I have no idea.
Yeah. Matt?
Matt, you got any predictions?
So, of the Age of Sigmar factions not currently represented, there's only Cities of Sigmar now because Paraphon and Headlights are coming, and Lumineth are coming. But I don't expect cities to appear because they're a holdover from obviously.
Yeah, I don't think they'll make new models for them. Sadly, I'd love to see it. To see it, but I can't imagine it. I reckon we must be due some more Stormcast. Surely we haven't had any for a whole season.
Yeah.
Bone Reapers is a good shout. Gately just mentioned then, so they're almost there. I'm getting shown up already. This is embarrassing. And Deepkin don't exist in.
In fact, all of those vampires, Bone Reapers, and the Deepkin could all feature. I wonder if Games Workshop have got anything else up their sleeve that they might chuck in. They've got there's a new kind of Warcry warband, isn't there, which is kind of Shadow Elf type.
Oh yeah, They're kind of dark elf-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
because
a
Malarian
bit similar to the daughters, maybe, but they could come out more Skaven.
Come on, have some Skaven. We've only had
Skaven.
one Skaven warband.
We could do with some more Skaven because the Skaven are just great. Everybody loves Skaven, don't they? I think.
Are they the Rat Boys?
Yeah.
Screw
I
it.
like them.
Who is the greatest?
They're pretty varied in terms of faction as well because they have different types of clans, don't they? So
Yeah, you've got
Different
you've got
different ways.
the Nurgly style ones, the War Machine style ones, the ones with all the sort of the rat ogres and all that kind of stuff. So they could go like multiple different ways with Skaven. I think because they only did them in season 1, and Skaven are like one of GW's original most IPable armies. Because they had obviously Chaos and Beastmen and stuff like that, but those were all quite generic things. The Chaos Gods were one of their more IPable concepts early on, but Skaven were got to be one of the clearest, most IPable sort of, not brands, or well, maybe brands is the right word, but most recognisable GW products.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
but they're very synonymous with the old world. The only thing that made me wonder whether they might be reluctant to.
But they've got AOS warbands. They're in AOS and stuff, so.
Well, I know. Have they brought out any new models since AOS landed?
There's the one that's got the rocket launcher heavy metal pose.
There's like one hero model that they released. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they are, like you say, Pete. They're one of their strongest IP lines, so I thought they would still support them. But I just think they are. If you say Skaven, I don't think AOS. I think it's old world, but maybe that's me.
So that might be.
That's why I think in terms of vampires, because I don't think they haven't really emerged from the world that was, as they call it.
Vampires?
Yeah, they were a thing in fantasy, and they still exist in Soul Blight, I think it is, which is obviously part of the Death faction. But they haven't been touched in quite a while. So
No.
I'd be surprised if they return. I would like them to, because vampires are awesome, but.
Well, the ending of the old world was pretty much 100% the fault of Manfred von Carstein, wasn't it? So.
Yeah, who came back?
Yeah.
Fake news.
Manfred.
Fake
hell,
news.
Manfred.
That's just what the media want you to think.
Yeah. So he broke it all up, and then he fucked off and came back and go, "No, I'm absolutely fine, actually." So, oh, everyone's dead. Oh, Jesus, this is awkward. Oh, God.
Everyone's dead. That's all. I was dead anyway. Vampirates. Yeah, that would be quite cool.
That's been bouncing around for ages. Didn't that start when they did one in Warhammer Total War? They did like a Vampirates army or something like that.
Okay. Vampires.
Something like that. I'm sure it's been around for a long time, like undead
Do
pirate.
Caradorn Overlord Vampires. Dwarf vampires.
Just try
there you
and
go.
blend as many
Some
different
nice,
things
some
together.
new dwarfs would be quite nice, I think. I don't know, updated fire slayers, or maybe just I don't know enough about the dwarven archetypes.
We've had dwarfs twice though now, because we've had Thundrix and we've had.
Yeah, but one of them was shit, so they should bring out another one.
Yeah.
yeah, there is that.
And
So
there's quite a few elfy types. So
we
some
have
dwarf types.
80 people watching us now.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Wow.
I hope everyone's enjoying it. I hope that everyone comes back next week when we're going to be talking about. I can't remember what we're talking about now. Competitive versus casual gaming, and it is competitive gaming ruining your game. That's going to be next week's chat.
Yeah, or rather, more specifically, is my take on it, which I was going to talk about next week. But my take on it is that although this is meant to be the ultimate competitive game, does it actually make it worse? It's meant to be ultra competitive. We'll talk about that next week.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what about somebody did mention it up here, and I wondered what are the silent people, and are they
people.
could they feature?
Well, we had the Banoffee trackers, didn't we? We had them. We had those guys, and we hadn't seen those before in AOS. So
No, I think it would be really great to have another unique set of models for in the warbands that don't have any representation in AOS. I think that would be quite cool. Just because it makes the game, a bit more special. It has its own stuff rather than just being an offshoot of AOS. You know, we might get around to doing our own. You know, your favourite army in Underworld at some point. You know, has its own things that people can actually think about. Or maybe they'll actually do an army in AOS from my favourite Underworld's warband. So I'd like to see something different that doesn't already exist.
No, that's true. I'd be surprised if Silent People did come out though. As much as I agree with you that having unique factions, or however you want to call them, is good for the independence of the game. I would be surprised if Silent People. I think they've had the mythos and the mystery and the out of the background.
We did get asked a question. Craig Sargent asked, unlined Chaos Warband, perhaps? We've had all the main Chaos Gods now, but we did also have the Godsworn Hunt, who were generic.
And, the Beastmen as well, kind of.
Yeah, Despoilers are a bit generic, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Somebody has asked quite a good question. Is Underworld fun for someone who only plays Kill Team and used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering? I would say, not having played a lot of either of those, but I would say yes. I think it probably is. I mean, I think it's Games Workshop were trying to scratch the Magic the Gathering X-Wing itch when they designed the game. So I think it is designed for people who like playing Magic. Whether you want to play competitively or not is a different thing, because that adds a different dimension to it, and then you're chasing cards and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but not as badly as in like the random packs.
No, I don't know how that works for people who do play Magic seriously. Chasing those cards must be a nightmare.
They spend a fortune on the third-party market.
Yeah.
My friend playing on the international circuit, he spent thousands of pounds on the deck.
Well, when we started to get into Warhammer Champions a little bit, I remember buying a card for one of the champions off of eBay for a tenner, and then I think 2 random packs later I picked one up. I was like, awesome, really glad I did that. That was great. So I would absolutely hate to play a game that was random packs, or that you got to chase cards. That would do my head in. But that's the good thing about Underworld, is you don't have to do that.
Yeah. It's interesting. Jace has said, I think he has mentioned this before, create a new faction in Underworlds will definitely help the game. It stands on its own 2 feet. But he mentioned before a 40k player referred to Underworld scathingly as just a board game, which I find hilarious. Because I suppose it is just a board game, but I like the idea that a board game is somehow inherently worse than 40k, which has got to be one of the most cumbersome and, frankly, I don't know how to describe it really. The rules of 40k it's not really a game, it's just a set of people throwing dice at each other.
And technically now you play on a board because they've brought out board packs for 40k. So that's true. Yeah.
I think people that you've got that scale of, like, with digital games you have that scale that PC gamers look down on console gamers and console gamers look down on I can't remember what the scales are, but there's those levels of people looking down on each other like that.
I've now got John Cleese and Ronnie Corbett in my head from the Class sketch.
Yeah, it's exactly a bit like that. Yeah, it's exactly like that. And that happens in war games as well. So you have people who play 40k will look down on people who play things like Underworlds, and I don't know who Underworld's players look down. I think we're at the bottom of the pile. But so you've got that sliding scale again. Like 40k players look down on these people. It's like they're all just games, and then some of them are more pay to win than others, and some of them require a lot more effort to.
I'm getting many internet points apparently for mentioning that sketch.
Yeah, it's funny about the elitism when you think about it. We're all grown-ups playing with little toy soldiers.
Exactly.
Like, there isn't much room for elitism.
Yeah, but you have to take it seriously. It's very important.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
When you see some people online going at each other's throats, you're like, plastic toy soldiers, people. We're not talking about.
My favourite one, and this might come into the competitive thing, is people having it, because I've been playing Marvel Champions, people having a go at people who aren't playing the rules quite right in Marvel Champions. It's a cooperative game, but you can play it on your own. It doesn't matter whether you're playing it right, if you're having a good time.
But then that's happened for years in like role play, where you get people talking online about when they're doing RPGs and they're like, oh, we don't bother with this rule. And then other people are like, well, if you don't bother with that rule, why are you even bothering playing? Because if you're not going to use encumbrance, then you might as well not even bother. Like, dude, we do it for an excuse to get out for a day and chat with friends. Like, we could almost not be playing the game and it would still be fine. But
Daniel Santos, sorry, go
on. I played my first 40k 9th edition game a couple of weeks ago with a friend at club, and we both before the game started spoke about applying these certain rules to these certain models that don't quite. Like, almost it fell through the cracks in terms of when they wrote the rules, and so we agreed, okay, no problem, do that. Yeah, okay, great, do that too. I took photos, so I was excited, posted it on the various Facebook groups, and I got so many actuallys because I was doing it wrong. I agreed beforehand with my
Who
friends.
cares though?
Some
care.
people out there
You're doing it
really
wrong.
care.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, this is a hobby where a company put out a statement that basically said we don't like racists, and people lost their shit over it. So you're like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't get behind that statement, what the fuck can you get behind?
And so that's a pretty general agree statement, isn't it?
Surely we
Apparently
should all be
not.
nodding our heads to that statement, right? But
Yeah.
people are still like, actually, I don't think what you. No. This is, I think it's pretty clear what they mean here.
So, in terms of the whole race thing, Batman, there's a rumor that there's a new Batman TV show coming out, and he's going to be black, and people are frothing at the mouth for it.
Oh, okay.
Oh no,
there's that-
it matters so much if he's black.
Exactly.
Get
That's
over
my
it,
point.
it's
Is that
Batman.
like the comic lore is always being fluid, so you can't cling to, but he's always been white because it's fluid.
Yeah.
As long as he saves Gotham, I really don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
And there
He
was
can't be worse than Val Kilmer, whatever happens.
well, I don't know. There was always George Clooney.
Oh, actually, no, yeah, right. No, Clooney was worse.
Yeah, Clooney was the bottom. That's where Batman hit the rock bottom of the barrel there, and then it rebounded, thankfully. But that happened with the play version of Harry Potter, didn't it? They had I can't remember where she was from, but she was basically a black actress playing Hermione Granger. And everyone was like, you can't have a black woman playing Hermione Granger. Why?
Like, I never said she was white in the book.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
do what you want.
And even if it did say she was white in the book, so what? It's all made up.
Yeah, it's
very much
pretend,
so.
guys.
It's Leviosa.
Oh.
Especially in plays, because everything is, Shakespeare has been played in about a billion different ways. But anyway, I think we digressed. There was a really good question here somewhere, and I've lost it now. It was about, do you need to buy all the Beastgrave stuff to play? Should he be? I can't remember where it's gone. I can't find it. As a beginner, should I buy all Beastgrave Warband so I have enough cards to create decent decks, or should I not invest that much in the beginning? That's a really tough question. I suppose it depends on who you're going to be playing and how often you're going to get to play competitively. Because I feel like that the moment with tournaments or whatever being at a minimum, you probably don't need to invest in everything, because you probably better just get a couple of warbands that you like and just playing with what you've got.
Just having fun, yeah. If you do intend to play in a competitive scene, you probably will want to buy all the current season warbands to get access to all the cards. But if you're not interested about competitive at all and you're just looking for an easy sit-down game, then just buy what you like the look of and play. Although it won't be quite as balanced. It certainly won't be balanced out of the box if you take the warband specific cards. And of course, you can always go on somewhere like Underworld's DB and print out the cards you want and stick them in a sleeve and play that way if you're playing at home with mates.
That does work if you just want to try cards out.
We've done that a couple of times. I think if we both have the same card in our deck, we'll just use a plain bit of other card and just write on it.
As we said earlier, Pete and I have been playing without any cards at all, just using Underworld's DB. Just on the iPad, so you don't have to. It gets a bit tricky sometimes, but you don't have to. You do kind of need the warband cards, but you don't need to have all the cards by any stretch of the imagination if you're playing casually.
I'm just loving the
Should say
number
actually, somebody mentioned. Sorry, Pete. Somebody mentioned in one of the comments about playing with only the Beastgrave cards. We are from now on, at least, or for the next couple of games, we're only going to use the Beastgrave cards. We're going to cycle out the Nightfall cards ahead of them being cycled out by Games Workshop. We thought we'd jump on it early and just play with Beastgrave. So
I was just going to say that I'm loving the fact that our chat is, I won't say blowing up, but there's loads of chat going on and I'm loving it.
Yes.
I'm just enjoying seeing everybody on and all the jibber jab going on, obviously with Matt and Loz on as well and all this going on. So
the giveaway happened. He's really late. No, it hasn't. Are we doing it in 5 minutes, Pete?
We're going to do it in 5. Yeah, someone remind me in about 5 minutes. We'll do the giveaway just so everybody who's sitting there waiting can go home or sign off when they're done. Matt and Loz, you have to stay till the end though. So just a reminder there.
I'm set. I'm fine.
Cool.
Oh, we have a question. We have a question from everybody here. When preparing back reps, do we build decks together or secretly from one another? And then the same question for Loz and Matt. So do you want to take it first, Loz and Matt?
I've never built a deck by myself. I don't know what works and what doesn't yet. I'm still learning. So Matt basically goes on Underworld TV, gives me a list, and goes, pick out your cards. And I don't know what he has. So he could screw me over every time.
I don't, for the record. We tend to have like an open discussion as to who we want to play with next, and then we'll go from there. But I think I mentioned it to you guys privately before. I've spoken to quite a few people who suggest decks anyway, and so we give them Ben Howard suggested 2 or 3 decks, but then the file list came over and just completely scuppered all his decks. So that's kind of fun. But Mike Carlin gave me a deck to try out, so I might give that a go soon. But then the new Orcs came out, so I want to give those a go. Crusher, that's it. So I think we're going to do just the decks with the cards in the box, what it was called, fraction. Just to see how it goes and go from there. But I'm expecting I'm going to be using the Crushers quite a lot in competitive, so I don't know how long I'm going to stick with it on the channel because it gets boring after a while. But we try and we discuss it beforehand. We haven't done a battle rap in ages because my computer died. We saw Loz, who do you fancy playing? Show her pictures, she picks one, and then she finds a deck from Underworld DB and she goes from there. I didn't really look at it. I don't look at it because it's cheating.
Yeah.
And you've already got enough of an upper hand on me, just generally, so it's not really
Yeah, Anthony said that Mike Carlin giving you a deck is pretty awesome. I agree. I'm quite jealous. He's never offered any help to us.
He's been really friendly to me.
To be fair, we've never asked either, but I'm quite jealous. Mind you, I'd be too embarrassed to play it. I'd just screw it up.
But then we're a bit on the outside of on the Underworld circuit as well. We don't have the time, and we're not on the inside and all that kind of stuff. So
no, that's true. That is true.
So
Pete and I, we don't really discuss our decks at all, do we? It's just unseemly.
We send each other's pictures, but that's better. We try and make sure that we're not taking the same warband, because we've discovered in the past that mirror decks or mirror matches don't really attract very much attention. Relatively speaking, I mean, our main games don't attract masses of attention, but so we try and make sure we're not taking the same warband at least, and then that's about it. We try and keep the rest of it a surprise. We did for a while talk about, we're going to play this warband versus that warband, and then we found that when we did that, when making the decks, you'd be sitting there thinking, no, I'm up against the Git, so I'm going to take, Tome of Offerings, because I know I'm going to be killing them left and right, so I want to try and maximise that. So we stopped doing that and tried to move away from that completely. And just keep it completely unknown to the other player. So
I found if you had like a 50-50 card decision, you put the one in that suited what you knew the other person was playing. Sometimes we tell each other, but normally we're so disorganised now we forget.
Yeah, there is that too.
The person was doing.
We did try and have our $10 level Patreon supporters be able to pick out the warband matchups for us, which we've tried. We're probably going to remove that, because we don't use it enough and we don't think people are getting enough from that. And we're going to try and introduce something else to our $10 level supporters to compensate them for that one.
But if fair, we'll still ask them. It just won't be official anymore.
Yeah. We'll ask everybody. We'll ask everyone. And and if people say, I've got this deck I think it's really cool, give it a try, then we're always on the lookout for decks and ideas of that nature as well. So if anybody has any they do want to chuck to us on Facebook or anything like that, do let us know.
And Mark Reynolds has asked, do people tend to avoid the sort of power decks, the strong warbands? And I'd say we do. That'll probably come up next week in the discussion. But I tend to find the better decks are very efficient, so they lend themselves to less interesting games on screen. Because, I suppose taking it to its extreme, nobody wants to see Pete and I drawing relics for Stormcast. That was the very efficient way to play, but it wasn't very interesting.
We were going to, for a while before the far list battered them into oblivion with Grimwatch, we were going to do how would you cope with Grimwatch, sort of rhetorical question when it came to new decks, and to consistently play against the Grimwatch LVO, the Glory Train deck. But then literally the week after we thought about it, it got ruined, so that died quickly. Thankfully.
Ruined.
Oh, the battle darts in. Hello, Justin.
So we do, yeah. We try and I think one of the big things we try and do when we build our decks is we just try and. I mean, anybody who's watched us for any amount of time will know that we don't build efficient decks quite often unless we're playing something someone else has built. We don't play competitive decks very often. We just want to play
more often than not,
stuff.
not deliberately.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we tend to try and play off meta or just as I was looking at the Blade Cave and thinking, well, there's a kind of not obvious build, but the drawing lots of cards to the end build is there for them, but it's trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't have enough experience to counteract anything. So.
Well, I mean, I've been playing this game since it came out, Loz, and I still don't either. So I mean, some people do that, and some people are good at it, and some people aren't. I'm not one of these people who's always going to be that contemplating what your opponent's going to be doing next kind of players, because I'm trying to work out what the hell I'm going to be doing next.
Yeah.
The card draw meta doesn't really favour any particular warband either, does it? So I think that's why it's dominating at the moment so much, because they're all universal cards, aren't they?
Yeah, I think anybody can do that.
Rothgorn can do one by himself, but one more. But, yeah.
Elron asked, do we feel that Grashrak's Despoilers are on the better or the worse side? I don't know now that the last set of cards have come out, and once it's just Beastgrave, how they'll fare, but I feel they're slightly weaker overall.
Yeah, I was going to say they're middle of the road. Mark Reynolds thinks they're in the middle.
Yeah. But I think that's because you get cards, you'll get a warband like Hrothgorn, who have somebody like Hrothgorn who is massively powerful, and once you can get a few upgrades on him, can be absolutely destructive. And they're always going to be a higher tier, and then you're going to get other warbands that are brilliant because they're like Zarbag's Gits, who just have bodies for days, and you can just do all of the grab objective cards and that kind of thing. But then you get other warbands like Despoilers, who I don't think they're bad, but they haven't got any big trick. They're very generic as a warband. They haven't got like a massive heavy hitter. They haven't got an ogre. They haven't got numbers to do objective grabbing too much, that kind of thing.
No, and I quite like them as a warband. They're a slightly more effective Godsworn Hunt, aren't they?
Yeah, and a bit like I think the daughters are going to be a slightly better version of Garrick.
Yeah, not this week they won't.
That's my Garrick.
Should we do the draws?
Shall we do our draws? Shall we get our draws out?
Get our draws out, yeah.
Okay, shall we do that? And then we'll jibber jab a little bit more afterwards, and then we'll call it a night.
Yeah.
So the first draw we're going to do today, and let me bring up the screen. Ding! There we go.
What's going to be first?
We're going to do the Eyes of the Nine first.
Come on, Loz.
So is it everybody the person has to be watching like we did for Indomitus?
Like before, you've got to be in it to win it. You've got to be online, and you're going to have to shout
81 of you.
because I'll need emails, because we'll need to get people to put their emails in so we can then contact people. Gaz Bagable, you are in the draws, I believe. I did see your name when I was writing them all down, so you should be right. So here we go. This is for the Eyes of the Nine Warhammer Underworlds Online key.
I haven't bought these yet. I need to get them.
I haven't had a chance. I haven't played them. Has anybody out there played Eyes of the Nine?
Got somebody who wants to enter.
Oh, 11th hour, Harjinder. If you want to be in, let me know right now. Do you want to? I'll stick you in them now. Here we go. You do have to be in the EU though. Worth pointing that out.
Not for the codes though, surely.
No, not for the codes. That's a good point.
No.
You can only send these digital codes so far.
They run out.
I'll stick your name in now for those ones, and then
we the Eyes of the Nine.
Yes, just make sure I've got the right ones. Right, so here we go. I'm in the wrong place. Here we are.
Sorry, Pete, you've got another one. We should draw the line after this one.
Like 3 more people have asked.
Right, let me just add these in. So, where the hell has it gone? There we are. Right.
So you've got Noxtius,
Yep.
and I think Gavin's asking to be in, although he could just be saying that he'd been beaten by the Eyes. But I think
That's
he's
going to be joined. Yeah.
And there was one more.
Rob Marks.
That's it. Rob marks. Yeah, right in front of me. Yeah. So that's it. Right. No more.
Right. That's it. Yeah. I'm afraid we're gonna have to call it there. Got to call it there now. That's us done. You've got to be online to win them. Right. Here we go. So this is for the Eyes of the Nine. Warhammer Underworld's online. It all rhymes in time.
It wants to know what's £180 on Amazon.
What?
You
had
got
an advert which said £179.99 on Amazon.
Oh, God knows. I'm not going to show you either, just in case.
Your penis extension kit again, is it?
No, they don't work. I mean, from what I've heard. Right, here we go then. Good luck to everybody. This is for Eyes of the Nine, Warhammer Underworld's online key for the newly released Warband. Here we go. I'm going to click it. Here we are. Parkour 94303 Wolfer. That's.
I've seen them on tonight.
It trips off the tongue. Are you online? Parkour 49.
Yeah.
Parkour.
He'll be jumping at the chance to win.
If you're online, shout in the chat now. You've got
He's
1 minute.
He's online.
Woo!
He's here.
Congratulations, you've won the Eyes of the Nine key. So,
I am online.
please put your email address, post it in the chat. It won't show up on screen, it gets hidden. Post it in the chat and I'll take a copy and we will email you after this to sort you out your key. So there we go. There's the
Can we
first
also
one.
have the long card number and security code?
Picture on the back. And
Expiry date.
mother's maiden name, yeah, all just basic stuff, pretty standard stuff there. See, real people win this. It's not a Russian bot. It's not a Russian bot, Rosa. It's not.
It's nice to see the winner actually get the prize.
Be right there.
Yeah.
First time it's happened, isn't it?
This is why we've changed to doing it so that it's only people who are online because last time we did it, it was an absolute farce to try and get hold of people. So right, so we've got your email, Parker. We will email you after the show. There we go, one down. Don't worry, you could still win it now. So this is for. Get rid of that advert. So this is for the Thorns and a copy of the base game. Now, if whoever wins this one, if you've already got the base game and you don't want it, you just want the Thorns DLC, let me know and I can redraw straight away. Battlecast says he's always sweaty. I know what you mean, mate. It's the lights, isn't it? The minute you put those lights on, you realise people are looking at you.
Composed. Say a British stiff upper lip.
The sweat just begins. I mean, I'm just swimming around in a pool of my own sweat here. It's the terror sweats. Right, here we go. Next one. So this is for Warhammer Underworld's online game and the Thorns. So 3,
This is
2,
for the
1.
whole game and the Thorns.
Whole game and the Thorns.
Whoa.
Here we go. Street Pass Liverpool. I do believe we've seen you online as well, mate.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Street Pass Liverpool.
That's Liverpool.
You have 1 minute to reply. 1 minute
That's
starting
definitely
now.
He
Russian.
was definitely in at the beginning. He's here.
Is he? What's my chat
Or
saying?
she, he or she, I suppose.
says,
I've
"Holy
just
moly."
assumed.
Street Pass Liverpool.
Yeah.
Please give us your email
Holy
in the chat,
moly.
mate. And you have won the Warhammer Underworld's game and the Thorns.
Excellent.
I like this. The only thing I don't like about all this is I can't give everybody a prize. I
Aw.
want
Oh, you
everyone
were
to
saying
win.
because I can't win. So, sorry for you.
Oh, he's
My name-
chuffed. Excellent.
What I'm
Well
mostly
done.
annoyed about is the fact that my name's in here about 6 times. It never bloody picks me. Street Pass, just chuck your email address in that chat. Don't worry, it won't show up online. We can hide it, and we will email you. Let me just make a note of that one.
Take your shirt off, Pete. That would be a good prize. Well, funny enough, we were talking about that today. But perhaps I won't say why.
Yeah, you can't tell them just in case we do it.
In case we do it, yeah. We thought of an amusing video that we could make.
It would be the most horrific video anyone's ever seen online.
But
I
maybe,
want to watch
maybe
it
if the
whenever
money's
it is.
right, we'll do it.
I don't think the money will ever be right from their point of view. Maybe we could charge people to not do it.
Not
Is that a
so-
charge or a threat?
Yeah, you dress it up however you like, mate. So, there we go. That's 2 down. Street Pass, and Parker, we will be in touch with you both after this show. This is the last draw now. The last draw of the night. So this is for...
This is for Pete's house.
It's for Beastgrave.
Oh, sorry.
Holy
Beastgrave, not Pete's house. Sorry.
Holy... Well, then...
Pete's house would have been a better name than DireChasm.
Yeah, we couldn't have Rob's Garage because that doesn't quite roll off the tongue so much.
Pete's house. Actually, my house is more like a DireChasm than yours, so that's probably...
So this is for Beastgrave. Copy of the Beastgrave game. Obviously, that's got all the stuff in it. And it also comes with the loot box. So you've got the tokens. You've got, I think it's the Godsworn Hunt in there. There's the 2 Dreadfane Warbands. There's the mat. There's the carry case. So there's a whole chunk of stuff. I think technically, if you buy it all online now, it's over £150. So there we go. Unless you've got a loot box, in which case it was 60 quid for the loot box. But there we go. That does make it sound as good. So, let me see some thumbs up in the channel, and I'll hit the go button. I like doing this because then it makes the channel go a bit mad for a second.
It makes you feel like Joe Wicks.
It does, yeah. Give me a virtual high five.
Oh, somebody wants to be in for the Beastgrave core box.
Elrom, is that?
No, Rob Marks again. Did you put him in?
I believe I put Rob Marks in. Let me just check.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I did. I did.
Okay.
Rob, you're already in there. Here we go. Lots of thumbs up and stuff. The only reason why I don't try and be like Joe Wicks is because obviously he's already got that market down, and if there are too many long-haired, incredibly fit men jumping around on YouTube, people are just going to get bored of that.
That's true, although you don't have long hair. So there's the one difference.
I was going to grow the hair out. I was going to grow the hair
You
out.
could ruin his career, Pete.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
We're like the before. Here's the after.
Well, depends. Depends which way you look at it. Like, we could be the after 30 years of heavy drinking.
after.
Going back in time. Or forward in time, rather. This is what happens.
Right, here we go. I'm going to hit this now. I'm
We're-
going to immediately be disappointed because I won't be able to give one to everybody. But here we go. Let's see what we've got. Rolling.
Drum roll, please.
Daniel Bungay. I believe we've seen you in the chat.
See his name yet?
Daniel, give us a shout.
Ooh.
He gave a thumbs up.
Yay! He says yay. Excellent.
So, Daniel, you have won the Beastgrave and the loot box. Now, we've got 77 people online right now. How quickly is that going to drop? 2. Daniel,
Quick, Matt, take your top off.
quick. No one wants to see that. No, Matt, no. You see, I was going to make that joke about everybody, and then I thought Loz isn't going to be so fond of this idea. Not gonna. Yeah,
Don't
maybe not.
assume.
Right, Daniel,
Bobby
I
is
have.
deep.
Daniel, I have your email. We will get in contact with you after this show. Congratulations to all our winners tonight, and commiserations to everybody who didn't win.
Well, a lovely comment from Harjinder. He says, I think the second time he's quite a live stream, but he's learned how to play and was playing with his wife, or the missus, during lockdown. So that's really good. That's really nice to hear.
Of course,
That's
Loz.
not allowed. I have that market.
Loz obviously has also been picking this up from Matt because she's had no choice, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think, Loz, that if it hadn't been for lockdown, would you have got involved?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah?
Probably
Okay.
not as much as I have, as quick as I have, because it's only been really since lockdown that he's forced me to play a lot.
The channel wouldn't have existed if it
No.
wasn't for lockdown.
Okay.
But I did ask Matt before I started playing. I said, is this a hobby that you want to keep your hobby? Because if it is, then I will leave you alone and you go enjoy. Or do you want me to learn a bit so that we can play it together at home? And he said, no, I'd quite like you to learn so you can play together at home. So I learned the bare minimum.
Yeah,
and I've just built on that.
That's an interesting point, actually, because I've seen a lot of people in Facebook and stuff since lockdown happened saying, hey, I've just convinced the wife /girlfriend/partner or /whatever to get into the hobby. cat, neighbour's dog, that kind of thing. I've just persuaded all these people to get into the game, and we're having our first game tonight, or we just had our first game and they actually didn't hate it. And I know Mini Wargaming did a big thing on it as well, because I think Dave from Mini Wargaming got his wife into it as well, and did a whole series when they were all stuck at home doing things. So it was great that Andrew Morris's mistress. Yeah, that's not what I'm going to spend my time doing if I've got a mistress, mate. Sleeping's what I'm going to do. I like that, and I think it's great that more people are getting their significant others into their hobbies, and I think that's great. I don't think I'd enjoy it if my wife got into this hobby, because this is I think maybe this way you were coming from, Loz. This is my little haven away.
Yeah. I didn't want to impose on that. If that was Matt's thing that he wanted exclusively for him and wanted me to keep my nose out of, then I would have done. Because I've got those hobbies of my own, and if he starts imposing on some of my hobbies, I tell him to piss off. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't overstepping the boundaries before I actually started playing.
Yeah, and I think that's a really nice, considerate thing to do, to say, I'm quite happy to leave this for you. You can go and be a sad little man if you want on your own, or I can come and be a little sad with you, kind of thing.
Be a sad little team.
Sad little team. Woo! Go sad team. Some people have said they've got their sister to get into it and stuff like that. And Daniel Santos says that his wife laughs at his toy soldiers. Well, you know what?
Yeah, my wife doesn't laugh, but she tolerates.
Yeah, my wife definitely. Yeah.
She's really competitive, so we don't play very many games because it just ends in tears one way or the other. Normally because I've been crushed into the ground.
Yeah.
But I did, having been enjoying Marvel Champions, I did pick up Arkham Horror, the Arkham Horror card game, in case that she might want to play that with me. But so far I haven't actually read it how to play, so we haven't got very far with that yet.
I've managed to convince my wife to get into a few board games, so she's definitely into things like Go Nuts for Donuts and Sushi Roll and stuff like that. She's definitely into those ones, and King Domino and stuff, or Queen Domino. No, it's King Domino's first one. So I think that's as far as she'll go, and I'm quite happy doing that because we can play those with the kids, and it's a bit of family time, it's something that we can all do together. But then they can go and do their stuff, and I can go and do my stuff, and then we can have that separation. But to any couples out there, Matt and Loz obviously a very good example of that. If you can get something like this that you both enjoy playing together, then awesome.
Yeah,
we have a bunch of board games, and we, before lockdown, quite frequently had board game nights and stuff with friends. So it's not like
Loz has people around the house.
Completely unbeknown to any sort of gaming. But Loz draws the line to using a tape measure. You're not interested in those sort of games, are you?
Anything with a tape measure?
Honestly, what the hell is that all about? That winds me up.
Yeah, I think tape measure and freeform is another layer of barrier of entry, I think, isn't it?
That's too far deep into it for me. I can't be doing with that. Give me hexes, I'm fine. But
yeah. It's on a board, then it's a bit easier. Daniel Santos says that he moved to the UK, but he has no friends here, and lockdown hasn't helped him play at LGSs either. Daniel, have you thought about doing like either TTS or what's the other one, Vassal or something like that? Do check those out if you haven't, because you can play Underworlds online that way and get into meeting other people, and that's a really good way of getting in games when you can't actually physically meet anybody as well.
Somebody's asking who won the supply box. That was Daniel Bungay, wasn't it?
Who won the supply box? The loot box and the box. Yeah, was Danny Bungay. So
yeah, we just commented. Gloomhaven is brilliant, doing a 4-player on Saturday. I've never played Gloomhaven except online, and I haven't played online. I haven't done any computer games online for 2 months now. But the children are going back to school soon. I might get a chance.
I played a game with Matt the other night. We played Vermintide. Yeah. We did terribly at it, but it was great fun.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my recording didn't quite work very well. The audio was off and it was really jerky and jittery, but I'm hoping to play a bit more of that because that was just good fun.
Yeah, we also realised we were playing the extra campaign, and we probably shouldn't have done. It was just up the hill struggle, even on easy story mode.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I find some people have mentioned here that they've tried to get their other halves or kids or stuff interested in it, and they've just not been interested. I've found that it's a bit like getting people into wargaming or board gaming is a bit like a fart. If you have to push it, it's going to be shit. So just if people aren't interested, you're just going to have to accept that you're going to have to play with other people. That's it.
Yeah. My youngest is sort of interested in Star Wars Legion, but only I think mainly for the models. He doesn't actually want to play the game. So we set up. I showed some pictures on the Discord. We set up a little, but he just told a story with the models. We set up a little diorama thing with some models, all different scales, drove Ed crazy. But I'm hoping as he gets, because he's only 8, I'm hoping as he gets a bit bigger, we'll be able to lure him into playing a bit more. But he probably won't, because I find that the kids don't want to sit and learn all the rules, or not even learn them, but it's not immediate enough.
Yeah.
Unless it's something like Sushi Roll, or you could just quick up play. They haven't got the time, or they don't want to put the effort into assimilating a war game.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an aspect to that. But then I think back when I was 8, 10, 12 years old, I probably wasn't playing by the rules very much either. So
no, exactly. That's it. That's the problem. I think that's sometimes the problem with having parents who are really into it and they know everything, and then they just bore their children rigid.
We went to Warhammer Worlds a couple of weeks ago, just to sort of have a mooch around, and there were a few families there with kids, weren't they? And the kids were running around the shop getting so excited about seeing all the stuff, and they seemed genuinely like, "Can we please get it? Can we please get it?" And their parents looking in terror as they picked up thousands of pounds worth of stuff. And it was nice though, because it was like a little family trip to Warhammer Worlds.
What, the mum and her 3 kids?
Yeah, like, no,
basically.
please stop picking
Put
this
that
up.
down.
The dad come like, "Can I buy this one?
Timmy, no.
Can I buy this, please?" "No, dear, you can't buy that one." "Please, I want that one." You can't have a Titan.
You've got 2 of those at home, not the limited edition one. I don't.
Yeah, pretty much. We have Titans at home. We don't have those Titans at home. I only have Titanicus Titans. I want a 40k Titan. Ooh, Daniel Santos just joined Patreon. Hooray! Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel.
Might as well plug it a bit. If you join Patreon at any of the levels, you will get battle reports a week early, ad-free. At the $5 and up, you will get extra stuff. Both Matt and Loz are Patreon supporters. Love them. They're brilliant. They're awesome. And thank you very much. Glad to see you on board. So I think that's probably enough for tonight. I think we're all chatted out now.
I'm getting there, yeah.
Yeah.
So JOT has said, I need to encourage play by really expanding on the storytelling. Yes, I do. It's just finding the time to sit down and actually do that. But we actually recorded our game the other night, so he's very keen to do it again. So I must get on that and do it before he goes back to school.
Jack Varnum has just said that he didn't say he joined our Patreon. That's a good point.
I made an account.
Yeah, he's created his own account. I'm gonna make my own videos with blackjack and hookers, and they're gonna be better than yours.
Back to the blackjack and hookers again.
Here we are. It always comes back to blackjack and hookers. So Matt and Loz, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight. I hope you've enjoyed your stay on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Very much.
I think once things calm down a little bit more, because we had just so many different things we want to talk about tonight, I think it'd be nice to get you back at some point in the future with a bit more of a specific subject in mind, maybe.
Yes.
That's fine.
And Robin and I can pretend to prep in advance for it, which we won't do, of course, and then we'll just be sitting there 5 minutes beforehand going, "Oh God, what are we doing?"
Prep in advance? What's that?
Yeah, it's not what we do. It's just not how we roll.
I think this is why we don't perform very well at Grand Clashes. Prep in advance? What's that?
Maybe not.
Is that a new card? What does it do?
Yeah.
Sorry, Warband is that one? I don't understand it. So, just before we go, just to big up Matt and Loz, obviously, they do have their own channel, Into the Glory Hole. Matt, if you want to stick a link in the chat, I will try and put it in the description as well afterwards. Do go check them out. Give them a thumbs up. Give them a follow. All of this kind of support really helps anybody creating content for the community.
Absolutely.
And we saw him earlier, but Justin from the Battlecast was also in. If you haven't, do go check him out as well.
Yeah, definitely check Justin out. Good stuff.
So
there's quite a few good content providers, and they're starting to come through a little bit now. I noticed that Matt Martin and his Crit Def podcast is up and running again.
Yep.
And lots of people have done coverage of the new cards and things. The Still City guys are back with their new podcast. They gave out lots of shout outs at the end of theirs, but they didn't mention us. But I'm going to shout them out because I'm lovely. But
if you want to get some real in-depth, real good technical, strategic stuff going on there, I mean, I don't know if we'd ever manage that. But
second to none.
Yeah.
I think they're my favourite of all the various podcasts, I have to say.
They've got the right. Well, there's a couple of podcasts I really like, because there's also Path to Glory, which I really like as well, with obviously a man and co. And I just they do something I'm never going to be able to do, because they can spend more time and concentration on those kind of things, and I'm just too busy getting distracted by everything else around the edges.
Yeah, I think you should get, the more kids you have, the more glory you should get at the start of a game.
Well,
that would balance it out, I think.
Kids under a certain age, because once they get to about 13, you never see them again.
Boris Johnson could clear up if he can prove how many he's got.
Just going to promote a breeding meta, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I've got 17 kids.
Yeah, it's just going to be the breeding meta then. So, thank you, Matt and Loz, for coming on the show. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
Thank you.
Did very much.
Brilliant. It was great to have you on board. And I guess what we should be saying goodnight, and we'll see you soon in the Beastgrave. Bye.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.